equation of the line, and the method is you have the equation. Simply the limit should be -1 to 6. So if you integrate the equation of the line and the limits are -1 to 6, you will get the area under the line, which is a shape like trapezium. And if you integrate the curve and you apply the limits from -1 to 6, you will get the area under the curve, and both areas will be subtracted. You will get the shaded area. Right, Anya? Next, now I'm going to give you a question. You have to attempt that. The equation of the curve is given: y is equal to x minus 2 whole square. Equation of the line is given: y plus 2x is equal to 7. The line and curve both are intersecting at point A and B, and you have to find this shaded area. First thing that we have to find their point of intersection. So I hope you have found that. What are the x coordinates of the point of intersection? If you have solved them simultaneously, then tell me the x coordinate of the point of intersection. You can unmute yourself. Aiza is saying -1, 3. Needs confirmation. Yes, Umar, Ayan, Anya, Amina, Sarmad, please confirm. I got the same. Okay, Amina. -1 and 3. Did you get the same, Anya? Same. Okay, so it means this is the point -1, and this is the point 3. So you have to now integrate both curve and line from the limits -1 to 3, and then you'll subtract their areas, you'll get shaded area. If you have integrated the curve and applied the limits, you tell the area under the curve and separately area under the line as well. For line here, you need to make y subject here. So y will be 7 minus 2x. Then you can integrate that and put the limits -1 to 3. Please tell me both areas separately. I have done the integration. Just you need to put the limits -1 to 3. Jumar, what's the area? Sorry, एक का 12 है और माइनस कैसे आ सकता है? दोनों लाइंस कर्व ऊपर हैं, above the x axis, both answers should be positive. Ji, please write your answers in the chat box, or you can simply tell so that we can compare. Bring your notebook here, Umar. Aiza is saying 4 and 28 by 3. Remember, area under the line should be more than the area under the curve, because area under the line is more. I think this 4 is not correct. Other students will confirm. Yes, Aiza is saying it's 20 and 28 by 3. 28 by 3 is 9 point something, 9.33. Seven minus 2x, 7x minus this 2x squared by 2. मिडिल में क्या है इनके? माइनस है, नहीं आप दिखे ना, you have used this upper limit, then minus there should be lower limit. And where is the curve? Show me the curve as a जी आयान, कुछ निकल आंसर्स आए? You got 28 by 3. Amina is saying final answer is 32 by 3, mean 10.7. 32 by 3 is 10.7. And if we see Aiza's answer 20 minus 9 points, yes, she also got the same. So it means this is right. So area under the line will be 20. So 20, just a minute. It should be 20 and area under the curve is 28 by 3. So you need to subtract 20 minus 28 by 3. You will get 32 by 3. 32 by 3 is basically 10.7. Did you get a mistake? So you need to make your calculation right. Otherwise, if you see the concept is simple, you have to integrate both the curves and line, and you need to put the limits from -1 to 3, and at the end you have to subtract them. You will get that shaded area, right? Okay, the next thing we have to do today, and the last thing, that through integration now we will find volume. Okay, before starting, the volume, first you need to note down the formulas. Volume of rotation or volume of revolution. Note down the formulas, then I will let you know, okay, what volume, what shape. Okay, if the question is to have, you have to find a volume that once a shape or the graph is rotated about rotation 360 degree about x-axis, it is volume is equal to pi x1 to x2 y square dx. And if it is rotation 360 degree about y-axis, then the formula for volume will be pi y1 to y2 x square dy. These are the two formulas you need to remember, and we will see now how to use them and where to use them, how will give you this the volume. Okay, see an example here. Say this is x-axis and this is y-axis. There is a line, say this is a line whose equation is y is equal to 5x. Y is equal to 5x means this line is passing through origin and its gradient is 5. Okay, now see, the question is, I'm telling you that this line, I'm going to rotate this line about x-axis. If you rotate this line about the x-axis, 360 degree about x-axis, you can have pen. See, this is your x-axis. This is your x-axis. You can directly see here. And say this is the line y is equal to 5x. This one is the line 5 y is equal to 5x. Now, if I rotate this line about x-axis like this, so if I rotate, you will see, if I rotate that line about x-axis, so this will be like that. So can you observe that shape? Which shape, which 3D shape is this? Yes, it is a cone. It will become a cone if you rotate this line y is equal to 5x about x-axis. So overall, you will get a 3D shape. If I could draw that, which is a bit difficult task, but let me try. So if you rotate this line y is equal to 5x about the x-axis, you will get a 3D shape, and that 3D shape is a cone. Okay. Now we can find the volume of this cone by using that formula, but you know how to calculate the volume from your O level as well. Okay, next. See here, if we have a line, this one, say this line is, the equation of this line is, say y is equal to 4. If I rotate this line y is equal to 4 about x-axis, now see, if I rotate this line y is equal to 4 about x-axis, which shape will I get? Yes, we will get a cylinder. This is your x-axis. This is the line. So if I rotate that line, overall, I will get a 3D shape, and that 3D shape is a cylinder. Now, the purpose of telling you this, K, whenever you rotate any graph about x-axis or about y-axis, you will get a 3D shape. Now see the previous shape. if I tell you that now this line y is equal to 5x is rotated about y-axis, then even then you will get a cone. So the purpose is that whenever you rotate any shape, any line, any graph, any curve about x-axis or about y-axis, you get a 3D shape. Now, sometimes we will get that which shape is that. Sometimes we see okay, it's a cylinder, it's a cone, it's a sphere, or any other shape. But it's not necessary okay, you should be knowing the name of the shape of that all the time, because sometimes you get an arbitrary curve, and if you rotate that curve about x-axis, so you will get definitely a 3D shape, but the name of that is not required. But one thing is sure, okay, you will get that 3D shape. And if I take an example of this curve, that can also be identified. See, if you rotate this curve about x-axis, which shape will you get? We will get a sphere. But if I say, okay, we are going to rotate this curve about x-axis, you will get a 3D shape, but we don't know what shape is that. So we don't have to remember basically the name of the shape. So the one thing is clear, we'll get a 3D shape. What's a shape once a graph is rotated about x-axis and y-axis? Now we'll see how to calculate the volume of that 3D shape. So I told you the formulas. If it is rotated about x-axis, volume is pi. The limits are x1 to x2, mean the about x-axis, the limits will be for x-axis, y square. When it is about y-axis, the limits will change for y, and instead of y square, it will be x square here. Now the proof of these formulas can be seen from this diagram. Now please see here, I want to calculate the volume of this cone by using a you know what's the formula for volume of cone? I hope you remember. What was that? 1 by 3 pi r square h. That was the volume of cone, 1 by 3 pi r square h. Now tell me, what's the height of this? Okay, sorry, I haven't told that. Suppose the question is that there's a line is basically infinite. So if the question is that the line is rotated from 0 to say this point, 0 to 10. So this line is rotated from 0 to 10. That can be 100 and 1000, even a large number, but we have limited it to 10. Now tell me, what will be the radius of this cylinder and what will be the height of this, sorry, cone? What is the radius and height of this cone? First, the height. Height of this cone is 10. This vertical, that length, this is 10. What is the radius? For radius, you need to put this 10 in original equation. If you put in 10 in this y is equal to 5x, you will get 10 times 5, 50. So mean here this length is 50. So if this length is 50, so this is basically your radius. The radius of this cone is 50. So let's use these two informations, and we are going to calculate the volume in terms of pi. Radius is 50, we'll get a large number here. 50 square is 2500. 2500 into 10 is 25,000 by 3 pi. So this is the volume, if my calculation is right. 50 into 50, 2500 into 10, 25,000 over 3 pi. So we got our volume, and we were used to do this formula in O level. Now I want to tell that the same answer can be obtained by that formula. What was that formula? It was volume is equal to pi, the limits x1, because this is about x-axis, so limits are for x, x1 to x2 y square dx. What are the limits x1 to x2? 0 to 10. 0 to 10. What is y here? Y is 5x. but there is square, so it will be 5x whole square. Now we'll use this formula to find volume. It should give the same answer. So before integration, we need to open the square. So it will be 0 to 10 as it is. 5x square is 25x square dx. Now if you integrate 25x square, you will get 25x cube by 3. 0 to 10. Once you have integrated, now put the limits. 25 10 cube over 3 upper limit minus 0, so it will give you 0. What is 10 cube? It's 1000. 25 into 1000 is 25,000 over 3 pi. Yes, we got the same answer. So it means this formula through integration is also correct to find. It gives you the volume, but the upper hand here is that it will also give you those volumes which are involving the curve and a volume made by the curves when they are rotated. G, is that clear? Next question, now you have to find, the question is, say this is a curve, its equation is y is equal to x square plus 3, and it is given that this is 0, this is 2. This region is shaded. Question says, when this shaded region is rotated about x-axis, find the volume generated by that shape, that 3D shape. ये जो आपके पास shaded region है, or simply you can say K under the curve from 0 to 2 when it is rotated about x-axis, find the volume generated. So it is about x-axis, you need to apply that formula. Every limits are given 0 to 2. So simply apply the formula and get the answer. Limits are 0 to 2 x square plus 3 whole square dx. Gee, how to integrate this? My question here, please see. Can we apply that whole power rule here? No, I'm not saying no. Yes, Ayan, Umar, Ania, Sohaib. My question is, can we apply that whole power rule here to integrate? Yes or no? I hope you remember I'm talking about this rule. I am talking about this rule. Can we write, can we apply this rule? Because there's a whole power. Yes or no? We discussed this thing yesterday as well. Here in this case, we cannot apply that whole power rule. And the reason is, you're talking about this constant. Okay, say there is no constant. That's not the reason. X square is the reason. I told you okay, you cannot apply this rule if the derivative of inner is in terms of variable. See, if you take the derivative of inner, which is x square, if you take the derivative of x square, it will become 2x. It will not be a constant, it will be a variable. So whenever you have the derivative of inner in terms of variable, then you cannot apply that rule. As long as you are getting the derivative in a constant derivative like 3, 7, 8, it's fine. But if you are getting your inner the derivative of base as a variable like 2x, 3x, then you can't apply that rule. So I hope you haven't applied that rule here. So how to integrate then this? We will open the square. We will open the square here. Which is x4 plus 6x square plus 9. And integration gives x5 by 5 plus 6x cubed by 3 plus 9x. Limits are 0 to 2. A very common mistake students make here while finding the area and volume, they without integrating they put the limits. जल्दी में होते हैं जरा वो. Or it's a common mistake I'm telling you. 30%, 30 to 35% of the students do this mistake. They don't integrate, simply they directly put the limit and at the end देखते हैं कि answer नहीं match हो रहा. So no hurry at all. First, you need to integrate. After integrating, you need to put the limits, upper limit minus lower limit. G, tell me what is the answer? Write in the chat box. What volume is generated by that 3D shape, that shaded region when it is rotated about x-axis? Yes, put all these values into your calculator, you'll get your answer. Amina is saying it's 202 by 5 pi. And what will be your answer in 3 significant figures? sorry, 40.4. No, 40.4 pi. So when I'm saying three significant figures, so you need to put pi in calculator as well. Then what will be that? It will be 100. 127. Correct to three significant figure, right? So you need to see your calculations, otherwise there's no issue here. Simply you can apply the formula, integrate, put the limits, you'll use your calculator and you'll get your answer. Okay, next case here, we need to see the other case if the stuff that curve or line is rotated about y-axis. See here, the question is, see this line, this point is 0. The equation of the line is y is equal to six minus 2x. This point is 3, we know. This is 6. The question is this, I'm going to shade that region now. Say this is a shaded region. And the question is that this shaded region is rotated about y-axis. This shaded region is rotated about y-axis, about 360 degree. So find the volume generated by that shaded region. So this time there will be a change in formula, and now you know the volume formula will be for about y-axis, it is pi. Now the limits will be used for y1 to y2. And here it is x square dy. Now limits y1 to y2, what are the limits here? Limits for y are 0 to 6. You need to take the limits on y-axis now, 0 to 6. X square, where to get that x now? G. This time it's x square. From this equation, now you need to make x subject first. So if you make x subject, 2x is equal to 6 minus y. So x is equal to 6 minus y over 2. So you have made x subject, you need to put 6 minus y over 2, and there is the x square, so square dy. Everything will be same. This time you have to integrate this with respect to y now, but the method of integration will stay same. You have both options open. If you want to open the square, you can do that, and without opening you can do as well. And remember that denominator 2 square is a simply constant. That's a coefficient. You can keep that outside as well, just like pi. Pi is also a constant coefficient. You can keep, just like pi, you can keep that 2 square mean 4 outside. See here. Okay, if I open the square, if I use the method, 6 square is 36 minus 12y plus y square over 4. I can keep that 4, which is a coefficient, that's a constant, I can keep that outside. So 0 to 6, 36 minus 12 y plus y square. So I kept that 4 outside. Now integrate this. You will get 36y minus 12y square by 2 plus y cube by 3 and the limits 0 to 6 we need to put. Use your calculator, you will get the answer. So I hope you got the answer. What is that? Yes, Umar. 46.5, 56.5 pi or 56.5. And Anya, yours? 56.5. So this is the answer. Okay, there's no issue. So if only if it is about y axis, तो आप y की limits use कर लेंगे and the formula will be used for y. And what if I say कि it is rotated 180 degree instead of 360 degree? These are the formulas for 360 degree. Simply at the end you will divide your answer by 2 because overall the volume will be half. These are the formulas for rotation about 360 degree. Okay, if it says 180 degree, then you will simply half that answer. Okay, last case we need to discuss. Okay, suppose the equation of curve and the equation of line both are given. Equation of the line and equation of the curve both are given. And the question says find the shaded area only. So how will you do that? You will solve those two line and curve simultaneously. You will find their point of intersection. You will get their x coordinate. Then you will integrate the line equation of the line using those limits, and you will integrate the curve using those two limits. You will subtract the area under the line from the area under the curve. You will get shaded area, right? No issue here. Now the question is, if this shaded region is rotated 360 degree about x-axis, find the volume generated by that shaded region. How will you do that? Who wants to tell? Yes, Amna, please.
Sir, will you just solve simultaneously to find the limits and then plug it in the formula?
Okay, yes, the same method. First, we'll find the point of intersection. Mean to solve simultaneously, you'll get the point of intersection. So there is no change in that. So you will solve them simultaneously. Say you got the point of intersection, this one and this one. Say this is 1 and this is 5. Now after this, now I'm talking about volume. Now after this, you will use the formulas for the volume for line, volume for both the graphs. Mean first you will use the formula for the volume, the same formula pi x1 x2 limits y square dx, and you will find the volume under the line, the volume generated by under the line, so that will you will get that volume. and then you will apply the same formula for the curve. That will give you under the curve rotated volume, and if you subtract them, you will get the volume generated by this particular shaded region. So the method of finding the area and the volume is same here, but for volume you need to apply those formulas. If I take an example, that if I say, okay, this is, say this is f of x, this curve is f of x, and this curve is, this line is g of x. Now first you will find the volume under the curve like that by limits are 1 to 3 y square. Here y is f of x, so I am saying f of x square dx. So you will open the square, you will apply the limits 1 to 3, you will get the volume under the curve. Then again you will apply the same volume formula, limits 1 to 3, and this time line g of x, y square, so g of x square here. You will open the square, integrate it, apply the limits, you will get the volume under the line. And at the end, you need to subtract both of them to get the shaded region volume. I hope this is clear. Any question? So with this, we have completed our topic integration. Now we will start its past paper practice. I have uploaded a worksheet on the Google Classroom an hour ago. There are 13 questions. You have to complete that worksheet today. So that we can discuss the queries and problems tomorrow. So you have to attempt the whole worksheet today, and we will discuss its problems inshallah tomorrow. Right? Any question? Okay. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Allah Hafiz.